Hi, this is Pastor Johnston with Resurrection Lutheran Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on Howard Avenue, just off Howell. And this short video is just being made to help prepare you for the divine service this coming Sunday, the 13th Sunday after Pentecost. That divine service we celebrate here at Resurrection at 9 a.m. And September has arrived, and September is a fun month here at Resurrection Lutheran Church because that means Family Bible Hour will be beginning, and also midweek Bible studies. Information about these can be found in the news and notes on our website, rlcmilwaukee.org. But Family Bible Hour will be after the divine service on Sundays beginning September 14th, and we will be looking at the stories of salvation. How is it that God has saved us and is saving us? And we'll be doing that by looking at the divine service, as well as the catechism, as well as stories from the Bible, and looking at how these all fit together to help us understand what it is that God has done and is doing and will do for us. I'm excited for it. I hope you'll consider joining us sometime. Wednesday Bible studies, which begin September 10th, Wednesday evenings, will be looking at episodes from church history, and not primarily to memorize names, dates, and places. I know that can scare some people. But most importantly, to look at them to see how did the church navigate its culture and society in different ages? How did it engage the scriptures and what it did on Sunday when they gathered? What is it that we see as constants from age to age? What challenges are maybe illustrative for us in our own time? And so that's what we'll be looking for, and hope you maybe consider joining us on Wednesday evenings for that. The readings for this 13th Sunday after Pentecost are stark ones. They lay before us the importance of choices. They remind us that becoming a Christian actually means things. It means that life will present us with choices we would not otherwise have to make if we were just kind of going with the flow of the world and our own desires. In our first lesson, Moses reminds the Israelites that when they get into the promised land, they are going to have to strive to remain faithful to the God who had delivered them, the one true God, and that they would face the temptations of other gods, of idols, and of cultural sin, of all sorts of different allurements. And he reminds them that their number one goal is to remain in him who has acted in such a wonderful way for them. In our second lesson, we get a glimpse into a very interesting situation that developed in Paul's ministry as a Roman slave named Onesimus had run away from his master, which was a big deal. This was a crime. He had encountered Paul and become an acquaintance of Paul, and a very helpful acquaintance. They had become friends, and Onesimus had become a Christian. And now Paul writes to Philemon, Onesimus' master, who is also a Christian, and tries to mediate between the two. And it shows us how Paul engaged with a cultural challenge of his day, namely the Greco-Roman slave system, which was very different than what we had in America, but still a very challenging thing that the church had to wrestle with. How do we deal with that? And that second lesson gives us a glimpse into that. In our Holy Gospel, Jesus speaks plainly with us about the need to count the cost of discipleship. That if we are going to follow Christ, we need to realize that sometimes this might cost us some things. We might have to make hard decisions or do hard things or face hard situations. And yet it's worth it because we face them in, with, and for Christ. But Christ warns us not to be naive about the challenges we will face. I'm sure you have plenty of challenges in your own day. I am sure there are plenty of things you try to navigate in your daily life, culturally, societally, but also just with your own desires and sometimes with the temptations that you face. And I hope these readings and these hymns and the sermon will be helpful as you do so. I encourage you to check out all this and more. Again, all this information is up at rlcmilwaukee.org. We would love to see you here Sundays at 9 a.m. for divine service, and then Wednesday evenings beginning September 10th, Family Bible Hour around 10:15 a.m. Sundays beginning September 14th. Again, more information, go to the website, news and notes, and you will find that there. Thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about what we have going on this coming Sunday. If you're looking for something to pray through this week, check out a pattern for prayer on the website. It does have the lessons for this week, so you can begin pondering, begin meditating upon those. And until next time, God bless.